That's what I'm talking about. Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
See, no one has balls. No one has the balls to say the real deal.
Black word today.
Just y'all is the one and only. Get up.
You are poor.
Hello, everybody.
Black word today.
All right. What up? How y'all doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Black Word Today. I am your host for this show, which is a breakdown on news and events and what's going on in your world, things that you will be interested in, things that matter, things that are important, and I try to put that all together, make that entertaining, make it something that you don't want to go click up. Because you know, a lot of times when people start talking about these events, our eyes start to gloss over because it's like it's not relevant to our everyday lives. So what I'm going to try to do is put these things in the context that makes sense, that make it important to you, all right? And hopefully we can do that. So first of all, my bad, right? If you were like, Tim, where's been the Black Word Show? Because there's a couple people that are already like, Tim, I love this show. I like where you're going. Listen, it's just because it was the holidays and we had so much to do and I had so much to create, but we are back and we're going to be doing this show. This show will stream live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You know, I also have other shows I do. I do the Coffee with Tim Black show. I do that Monday through Friday. Then we have Tim Black at Night show. I do that every day except Wednesday. So I do a lot of content. I believe you can't complain about lack of media if you aren't putting your all into it. You can't complain if you ain't working. Come on now. You ain't working, you can't complain. So we dig in here. All right? Shout out to everybody who I have not seen since the new year. Let me just tell you, Happy New Year. Hope you spend it peacefully, safely, warmly, because it is cold out there. And I'm glad to have you back here. My people on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, all the way around. All right. So what do we have to do today? What's on the radar today? A lot. A lot is on that radar. That radar is full. I'm trying to tell you. We got Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions. We're going to talk about him and why I say he is a problem. And I'm going to break that down for you. We're going to talk about Trump's new book, Fire. Well, it's not his book, but it's about him, okay? So Fire and Fury, which you've heard a lot about, we're going to touch on it. I'm sure, we'll touch on that. Twitter and Trump, which is interesting. Twitter put out a statement, and I think it's directed towards Donald Trump. Gosh, we got so much stuff. Something happened in Georgia that ties into Jeff Sessions. We've got some more allegations about sexual misconduct. And I think we're going to start with this, guys. Let's start with this.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
This is BitCoin. Let's talk about...
See, no one has balls.
Let's talk about Bitcoin.
No one has the balls to say the real deal.
I love that, but I don't want to play it now. Let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Now, you hear a lot of people talking about Bitcoin and how if you didn't get in, you messed out, and how Bitcoin is rocking the world, and how, like, some people, they have this idea that, I don't know, they're very negative about cryptocurrency. And some people, I think that there's a lane. There exists a lane. Let me make sure my vocals are okay. They look okay on the monitor. Let me see. YouTube, can you guys hear me? Okay, if you got some people on YouTube, they're hanging out. My Facebook people seem okay. Bitcoin. A lot of people talk about Bitcoin in a negative light. I think that some people that found themselves a lane in the idea of shooting down things. Yeah, they just shoot pow, pow, everything, bang. Oh, that looked positive, bow. That looked like an opportunity, bow. This looked like some people might benefit, yeah, bow. Because it's off message to what their message is. And I think we should be anyone who's to anything. Okay, if you're saying cryptocurrency is going to save the world, slow down, right? Take that with a grain of salt. If they say that cryptocurrency is the end of the world, slow down. Take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, I know it's nice to be melodramatic and and to pump the people up and to get them excited like you got something controversial to say, but I think we need to have some equilibrium in this whole thing. So first of all, I am not a crypto expert, but I read. I have the ability to read. So what I want to do is I want to talk about cryptocurrencies in light of what Mark Zuckerberg is doing, right? One of the most powerful corporations in the world, CEO of that company, Facebook. And also want to break down to people what Bitcoin really is. Okay, so for anyone out there who wants this information, please stick around. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a virtual currency. Just like money, but it's virtual. Money, some would say money is virtual. Just numbers in a spreadsheet, okay? Bitcoin is not backed by anything physical. No paper money. No coin money, no actual coin money, okay? It's a virtual currency. Number two, it's traded between people without the help of a bank. That's right. It's traded with people without the help of a bank. It could be akin to back in the day when you wanted something done, you would barter. Sometimes I barter now. Okay, I'll promote your show or your thing, and you promote my thing or my show, or this person will do graphics work for this person in exchange for help on a website. It's just a transfer of goods or services between two people without using a bank to do it. Number three, every transaction is recorded in a public ledger or a blockchain. Okay? Blockchain is just a way of keeping track of each transaction. You hear the word blockchain? That's all it is. Call it a spreadsheet. Okay? Number four, Bitcoin is created by mining. Mining. I don't even know how to the best way to define mining. I guess we could look that up real quick, right? You know, I don't want to breeze through that because I would say data mining is when you're gathering data. What's the difference? Bitcoin is created by mining. What is that? What is mining? I guess I should have looked that up. But that's okay because we got a couple ticks. Mining Bitcoin. Let's look it up real time. Huh? How about we look it up now? Yeah.
Let's sprinkle some crack on them and get out of here.
Bitcoin mining is the process by which transactions are verified and added to the public ledger or the blockchain, and also the means through which new Bitcoins are released. Anyone with access to the internet and suitable hardware can participate in mining. I guess that's creating a currency, a form of exchange. Mining involves, it's right there, Tim. Mining involves difficult math problems using computer processors. Okay. Bitcoin can be traded anonymously, which makes it a popular way of funding illegal activities. But also, some people prefer to use Bitcoin because the anonymity. They want to keep their identities unknown for a lot of reasons. And they also want to avoid being hacked. They don't want their financial institution being hacked. That's another reason. That's why I accept Bitcoin now, because people kept saying, Tim, I like your show. I like to support it, but I don't like PayPal. And I don't like Patreon. And I like to do stuff on Bitcoin. I don't want anybody throwing this in my face or what have you. Okay. Or later, I don't want my name or whatever. Okay, privacy. Number 7, a single Bitcoin is worth over $1,500 today, but the value fluctuates wildly. So the value of Bitcoin today may not be the value of Bitcoin tomorrow or next week. It could be, who knows, or And that's the volatility of Bitcoin. Number 8, Bitcoin is one of many different cryptocurrencies, but by far it's the most popular. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. That's what it is. Virtual, used by a computer. It's anonymous, and the price fluctuates, and it's a form of exchange, and we decide how much it's worth by the people that are willing to invest in it. Okay, now Mark Zuckerberg, here's the part. Now, this should catch a lot of people's attention. Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg hints at his own Bitcoin rival for 2018. The Facebook founder teased his interest in so-called cryptocurrencies in a blog post that outlines his plans for 2018. Zuckerberg explains that users are concerned that big tech companies and spying governments are crawling their Facebook habits. He believes this could turn away users and admits that Facebook is making too many errors when it comes to user trust. Too many errors when it comes to user trust? Zuck, I thought you were a smart guy. Or are you also, like many of our politicians, too removed from the actual people to realize that, yeah, that's old news? It's old news, Zucks, that yes, people are, how can I say, very much turned away by what? You mining their information, you taking their data and selling it. There are people who don't care, but there are people who do care, Zucks. And there's more people who currently don't care become people who care that you are selling their information. They're getting nothing out of it. You make all the money off of these advertisers being able to go onto this platform. Not to mention Facebook ad prices have started to climb up. They're no longer, they're still maybe cheaper than some of the others, but it's getting up there, frankly, Zucks. It's getting up there. And frankly, I think that a lot of people are going to start moving to advertise with more influencers like your man Tim Black and others who have an audience instead of using Facebook as their advertiser. I'm just saying. That's what I think. Anyway. Zuckerberg believes Facebook could change this by adopting what he calls important countertrends, like encryption or cryptocurrency. Zuckerberg says these technologies take power from centralized systems and put it back into people's hands. He adds, I'm interested to go deeper and study the positive and negative aspects of these technologies and how best to use them in our service. Building high technologies into Facebook could also be a prime way for Zuckerberg to re-entice younger audiences onto the social media site. It is true. It is very much true. Younger people like newer, fresher things. Older people like older, familiar things. It's a psychological thing. Facebook has become an older platform. In fact, last year, a study by eMarketer confirmed Facebook fears of a waning youth audience. It suggested that a number of Facebook users aged between 12 and 17 was set to fall by 3.5% in 2017. It's not clear exactly how Facebook would make up or make use of cryptocurrencies technology, but one option would be for Facebook to create its own Bitcoin rival. Did it just say, hey, look, it's an open free platform. Anyone can use Bitcoin. Anyone can create a currency. That was in here. Yeah, that was in here. That's the power of Bitcoin. So what? Maybe Facebook will launch its own. Another option would be to allow friends to send cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to each other over Facebook Messenger. Facebook added the ability to send British pounds over Messenger in November last year. In any case, Facebook hasn't officially confirmed any such plans yet. I believe that Facebook, if Facebook walks into the river of cryptocurrency, that I believe many other social media giants will follow suit. It makes sense. And I believe that cryptocurrency is here to stay. And I don't know about, look, people will say you'd be better off if you got involved in cryptocurrency because Bitcoin is a specific type of cryptocurrency. People would say that it was better if you got involved in it 2 years ago. There are people who were in it 2 years ago say you should have been in it 2 years before that. The best time to get involved in anything is now. But never risk more than you can lose. Never overextend yourself. And if you, once again, I'll say this again, because I'm sure there'll be people who will be fair, who I want to make sure people hear me when I say when I say anyone who's too high on something or too low on something, they got to check themselves. It's neither the end all to be all. It is an opportunity. It's a possibility. And if you can take, if you can keep that, hold that in your head as you find out about these new emerging technologies, then you know what time it is. All right. So I'm gonna leave it there. You know, the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement has left me very skeptical about the intentions behind the Me Too movement. You know, I'm all for reining in sexual predators. And every time I saw that show, How to Catch a Predator, I'd root that the predator got caught. Not one single time. Never, ever, ever have I watched How to Catch a Predator or any other related type of show that I sit there rooting for the predator to get away. I may have called them stupid, but I never wanted them to get away. Such is the case with sexual harassers, sexual people who, sexual misconduct, these bastards who do these things. But I am skeptical in the intentions of this movement. And I'm also wondering, since when did America care about women? I mean, really? Does America really care? Like, does our culture really care? Our culture is built on selling sex. Selling sex, that's all we've been doing. Almost since the inception of media, of technology, of broadcasting, of advertising. Come on, guys, we know this, right? You agree? I mean, we got a lot of sexual predators, and you know,
we have to bring them to heel.
We got to bring them to heel. Now, this right here, I stumbled upon this, and during the course of bringing these suspects to heel, goodness gracious, do I have my go? Okay, I got so many screens up, man. I'm the screen guy. I am the screen guy. Do you know this person? Let me get rid of crypto. How many people know this guy? How many people know this man? This is Chicken George from Roots. Ben Vereen. I know what you're thinking.
So say good night to the bad guy.
Ben Vereen, Broadway actor Ben Vereen, accused of sexual assault in 2015 hair production. Oh, yeah. Ben Vereen is the latest installment of sexual misconduct peoples. And I'm like, what did Ben Vereen do? Ain't Ben Vereen like 70? What is Ben doing? Ben, what are you doing? Well, here goes the story, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 women accuse Vereen of sexual misconduct ranging from harassment to sexual assault. Multiple women have accused Broadway star Ben Vereen of sexual misconduct, according to a Friday morning report from the New York Daily News. The alleged sexual misconduct happened during Vereen's tenure as director of the 2015 production of Hair at the Venice Theater program outside of Tampa, Florida. Vereen, who was 69 at the time, had held open auditions for the production and later managed a 32-person volunteer cast. 4 female cast members told the New York Daily News that Vereen repeatedly forcibly kissed and hugged them without their consent. Several other cast members corroborated their experiences, telling the New York Daily News that Vereen routinely made degrading comments about female cast members, their bodies, during rehearsals, and one time, he stripped naked. Vereen, he should be just locked up for that. Man, come on, man. You got to lock him up for that, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You 69 years old getting butt naked as if anybody wants to see that. Ben Vereen, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Looking like a shriveled up piece of burnt asparagus. I know you didn't do that. I know you. He called it, look, he got butt naked and called it an acting exercise. Well, just act like this ain't my foot hitting you in your ass, Ben Vereen. 2 of the 4 women alleged that Vereen invited them separately over to his home in 2015 for God, I'm sorry. For private rehearsals. Private rehearsals. How does that sound? How does that sound? Who went to this old ass man's house for private rehearsals? Kids did. That's who. That's who, Tim Black. People who saw him as a mentor and a grandfather who they admired. That's who. People whose trust he betrayed. Allegedly. God damn it. During these 2 incidences, Vereen allegedly coerced the women into getting naked and asking them to join him in the hot tub. Oh, in the hot tub. According to 2 accounts, Vereen pressed his erect penis into the woman's legs and made unwanted sexual advances. That's a sexual advance. That's a rape. They say sexual advances. He was acting as my mentor, asking me about my parents. Then that same night, he put me on his lap while I was crying, and I felt him, his erection. Said Caitlin Terpstra, who was 22 at the time, told the New York Daily News. He asked me, feel that? Can you feel that? It was terrifying. I said, feel what? And I know this is graphic as hell. Look, you got to know what was said. You got to know what the allegations are. I get no joy. Nah, I'm bullshit. I get a lot of joy out of this. But it's not because I just, it's sick. Okay. But I love my job, but I don't love this part, right? Not creepy. This is just me reading this. I wanted to act like I didn't. I pushed myself off with a laugh. She continued. Then later he asked, do you think I want to have the other woman identified Kim, do you think I want to have sex with you? I don't know. Did I lose something? What do you say? What happened? That's what I get for getting too fast. Do you think I want to do what? 1 of 4? Oh. Do you think I want to? The other woman identified only as Kim told the New York Daily News, Vereen asked her to perform oral while they were in this hot tub. Kim, who was only 23 at the time, said she acquiesced and recalled feeling confused. Oh, this is what it was. Ben Vereen asked her, you think I want to have sex with you? And she said, I think you do. And he said, I do not. That's what he said. And then, because I read this. And then she said she thought it was like a mind game. He was playing a mind game on her. She says, I don't feel like I had a choice. Kim said she willingly entered into a relationship with Vereen after that first encounter. Now, however, she believes it was because he manipulated and took advantage of her. Yeah. He did manipulate and take advantage of you. He did. He did what is known as using what he got to get what he want. That's what he did. He used what he got to get what he wanted. He used his position. He used his way he's seen. He used his power. He uses whatever. People have been doing this in America forever. Okay? That's my point to this. So now, what did Ben Vereen say, Tim? Let's cut to the chase. What did Ben Vereen say? Did he respond to these allegations? What is his side of the story? Well, here it is. In a statement to Huffington Post, Vereen did not deny the accusations and apologize for his actions. He said, I would like to apologize directly to the female cast members of the musical Hair for my inappropriate conduct when I directed the production in 2015. While it was my intention to create an environment that replicated the themes of that musical during the rehearsal process, I have since come to understand that it is my conduct, not my intentions, which are relevant here. So I'm not going to make any excuses because the only thing that matters here is acknowledging and apologizing for the effects of my conduct on the lives of these women going forward. My having come to terms with my past conduct will inform all my further or future interactions, not only with women, but with all individuals. But you mean with all individuals. I hope these women will find it in their hearts to accept my sincerest apology and forgive me. Murray Chase, executive director of the Venice Theater, told New York Daily News that the theater is working to strengthen our sexual harassment policies and procedures, including the reporting of them to prevent any future occurrences. Okay. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because we all know BS when we smell it, when we hear it, when we read it, right? Right? We know this. Ben Vereen, you meant to do what you did, bro. And miss me with the, anything. I don't want to know how it was interpreted or, now I realize it's not about what I intended. It's about how it was perceived. Motherfucker, you took your clothes off and got butt naked. You make people get in a hot tub. You kept asking, you got these impressionable. Look, man, this is so rampant. What's next? What's next? It's going to look, I think you could just charge the whole, like everybody with a record deal, seriously, anyone with a record deal who's out in the streets, out in these parties, making it rain and bringing people back to the room and doing all this stuff. Anybody with a tour bus, and I do mean anybody, many sports celebrities, many everything. This is what I'm saying. I believe that this type of activity is so rampant. Hell, there's a guy who owns 5 AutoZones who's sleeping with at least 3 of the cashiers at the AutoZone that he owns. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is so rampant. When are people going to... That's why I say I doubt this is more than like a distraction. And I know people say everything. To some people, everything's a distraction. But this is definitely a distraction. What will America do when its entire culture is built on idolizing white women, right? Demonizing or sexualizing black women, right? Because that's all it's built on. Come on, man. Halle Berry got that Oscar for playing a rape scene with Billy Bob Thornton. Come on, man. This is what we do in America. This is how it's done. And that one of my only criticisms for one of my major criticisms, not my only because I have several criticisms. One of my major criticisms about all of this and the people who speak on these issues is they leave out the fact that this is America. And there are some things that just are. Yes, I would love to change them. And yes, I have women in my life that I care very much about, right? But let's not act like these people care. All right? Let's not act like they're doing this to help somebody. They're not doing this to help anybody. Nothing's going to happen to Ben Vereen. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Louis C.K. will be back at work. Ben Vereen will be just fine. I mean, this is just a news cycle. And I'm not saying anything he did was right at all. What I'm saying is you can go get all these guys. You can go get them. Look, who's next? Al Roker? Al Roker, somebody wanted to do the weather. So Al Roker... And I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Maybe not Al Roker, somebody else. I don't know. Captain Kangaroo. Damn, the fact that I even know who Captain Kangaroo is, I know people are like, who the hell is Captain Kangaroo? Who is Captain Kangaroo? All right, I'm going to go to the next one, man. Let's go to the next one. I'm just saying, guys.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
We cannot fall for the banana in the tailpipe, people. Let's not do it. Well, man, we know how this is. We know what this is about. All right. Gracious. Do I want to talk about Biden? Joe Biden, they talk about Joe Biden. He may end up being the nominee for the Democratic Party in 2020. All right. And a lot of people like Joe Biden because he has a folksy slur, like a southern drawl. He has a homey way of communicating. One of the things I don't like about Joe Biden is, one, he was a co-author of that horrible bill, the 3 Strikes bill that he helped design along with Bill Clinton. So I know that, right? So that's a problem. And no, now that I know about it, I didn't know about it 20 years ago. Yeah, I didn't know about it 20 years ago. Okay? But now Joe Biden is being looked upon favorably. There are things about Joe Biden people don't like. One of the things is that he was overseeing. He was conducting the Senate investigation into Anita Hill's allegations about Clarence Thomas. I think it was the confirmation hearings of Clarence Thomas. Anyway, here goes a clip I'd like to share with you. Get off my screen, Ben. Get off my porch, Ben. Here's Joe Biden talking about Anita Hill.
This incredible Me Too movement. In connection with that, you have said that you owe Anita Hill an apology about what happened back in 1991, the Clarence Thomas episode. Have you contacted her, number one? And number two, do you think this time it's different, that we are seeing with the Me Too movement something that is truly going to lead to change for women?
Look, at its root, this is all about the abuse of power. It's all about the abuse of power. Whether it's Harvey Weinstein or the guy who, the plumber who has a secretary he harasses. It's all about the abuse of power, number one. Number two, women should be believed. I believed Anita Hill. I said I believed Anita Hill. I voted against Clarence Thomas when she decided she was willing to come forward. What I feel badly about is the inability to be able to silence the Republican critics on the committee. What people wanted me to do was to gavel down other senators who were harassing her, And I wish I had the power or a way to communicate. But you may remember, I got in shouting matches with witnesses who were attacking her. I got criticized for shouting at witnesses who were making these statements. But she deserves credit because it took enormous courage for her to come forward. The good thing about what's happening now and why I'm keeping up this college promise tour I'm doing, I go out and it's on us. I go to campus after campus. We're changing the culture. We have to get men involved. The biggest thing that will come from this is for men to stop thinking they can engage in loose talk about women and it not be damaging, and be willing to step up and step in when they see it happening and not be silent.
Have you contacted Anita Hill?
No, I haven't contacted
You plan
Anita Hill.
to?
I hadn't planned on. I'm always happy to see her, but I wish I could have protected her from the attacks that came at her, but I didn't know any way to do that.
All right.
Let me just say I'm reserving judgment until all the facts come out.
I think it's important for people to know that Joe Biden, he sat there while these men were lambasting Anita Hill. Anita Hill was testifying against Clarence Thomas, who was trying to get confirmed as Supreme Court Justice. She made allegations that Clarence Thomas sexually assaulted her for years. Made very disgusting comments to her, okay? The way that they treated Anita Hill was they shamed her. They shamed her publicly. Remember, Clarence Thomas, he played this role like he was the one being victimized. I was a young man at the time. I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I remember something about a joke about a pubic hair and a Pepsi or something like that. And I remember hearing Clarence Thomas talk about high-tech lynching. It's always ironic when we got these conservative black folks who always they'll play the race issue only when it benefits them. But as for the rest of us, they say there's no systemic racism. It doesn't exist. They were treated better in the racist, segregated Jim Crow era South than they were treated in liberal New York or in liberal California. These are the kind of comments that comes spewing out of the mouth of Clarence Thomas. But back to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, a man who has as many pictures and imagery of you being creepy with women as yourself, sir. I don't know if you have any ground to stand on in this area in this regard. I mean, guys, he got more creepy imagery than Al Franken. I don't know what Joe Biden's been doing all this time. He's one of the handsy guys. Guy was handsy with Hillary. It's like, goodness gracious. Do you realize this is being filmed, dude? look, Joe Biden may come across as a very nice guy. He may come across as a guy who seems sincere. I think that's the quality that he's able to use to his benefit. I'm not saying he's a liar, but I'm saying if his mouth is moving, he probably is. And they're using, I feel that they're using this Me Too thing to gain political points. I think they use everything, but anyway, that's what I think about that, and that's just Joe Biden. We'll see what happens for 2020. We got a lot of time between now and then, but as of right now, the fact that he didn't gavel down, it's not just that he didn't gavel down, he didn't stand up. Oh, and here's my point. This is what I want to say. If you won't stand up when you are in the Senate, having an opportunity to stand up to your fellow colleagues, you won't do it, even though you said you believe the woman, you said that you do not believe Clarence Thomas, and you felt that they were disrespecting her. Why didn't you stand up in that courtroom? Why didn't you stand up there at that confirmation hearing and go on the record and say, you guys are scumbags. You guys are pathetic. You guys are morons and degenerates, and you guys don't care about the truth, nor do you care about women. See, Joe, if you actually had balls, instead of pretending to have them now, you would have made history, and you would be remembered. Right. You'd be remembered. You'd be a champion. It's not that hard to be a leader. All you got to do is fucking lead. But you don't lead, and then you want the accolades and the treatment of a leader. You're not a leader. You don't want to risk anything. So you just like everybody else. Flowery, sugary, gold shucks, southern, whatever that is, aside. All right, let's go to the next one. That felt good. They hate us for our freedom. They hate us for our freedom. Now, this is the part of the show before we go into Donald Trump and the Twitter and Jeff Sessions, because we got a lot to get through. But I want to let you know this show is not brought to you by the DNC or the GOP or any other organization, nor is it affiliated with any other organization. This show, what we do here at TBTV, is we try to get to the truth. That's it. No agenda other than truth. Oh, I'm sorry. I do have one agenda. But I'm totally transparent about it. I don't hide it, okay? I want black folks to stop voting for Democrats without getting something for their vote. I've been saying that for about 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. So any talk to the contrary, forget that. That's not, he's just saying that because I feel, no, we can have the same thought. Don't mean nobody riding off you. Anyone who's been covering politics, anyone who, once you start understanding the lies of the Democratic Party, and also keep in your mind as well the obvious bigotry of the Republican Party, well, when you look at both of those things, you realize neither one of them are really friends to the black community, and you want to, at least me, I want to educate the black community and say, hey, we got to stop giving anybody our vote who hasn't earned it or who has betrayed us. And that's one of the goals of the show. So anyway, if you'd like to become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack, TB Nation, Tim Black Nation, TB Nation, go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live, or find me at timblacktv.com. That's my website. And you'll find out where to go from there. You can also get a cool shirt like this. And you can always email me at tim@timblacktv.com. Okay? I currently have a book. It's doing really well on Amazon. It's called Woke, 5 Things Smart People Wish Hillary Supporters Knew. You should get this book. This book is an amazing book. It tells you all you need to know about Hillary Clinton in the 2016 elections, while people cry in their Fruit Loops about Donald Trump being president. Well, if you would have read this book, if you'd had access to this information, you would better understand why we are where we are. And it's a short book. It's an easy read. And it's written just like I talk. Because there's no ghostwriter. It's just me. All right, guys. All right.
This incredible Me Too.
Get out of here, Joe Biden. Get out of here, Joe Biden. Jeff Sessions.
Marijuana is not as dangerous as heroin. Would you agree with that?
I think that's correct.
Well, thank you, sir. I would hope that in your enforcement that you would look at the limitations you've got. There's always an opportunity cost, and put your opportunity cost, your enforcement on crack, on cocaine, on meth, on opioids, and on heroin. Marijuana is the least bothersome of all. 28 states or 29 states in the District of Columbia have legalized it for medical purposes, 8 states in the District of Columbia for recreational purposes. Justice Brandeis famously said that the states are the laboratories of democracy. I would hope you'd look at marijuana and look at the states as laboratories of democracy and see how they've helped. In states where they've got medical marijuana, they have 25% less opioid use. It gives people a way to relieve pain without using opioids, which inevitably leads to death and crime. And so I would hope you take a look at that.
We will take a look at it, and we'll be looking at some rigorous analysis of the marijuana usage and how it plays out. I'm not as optimistic as you.
Yeah, he's not as optimistic. He's not as optimistic as the gentleman. This is true. He's not. And one of the reasons why we know he isn't is because Jeff Beauregard Sessions has just ended a policy that let legal pot flourish. That's right. He just put together a memo that reverses the gains that were given by a memo that was created by Obama, which is a policy which led to the legalization in many states and supported the states. And told the states, hey, and told the federal government that, hey, if the states are making it legal, won't you focus on the illegal aspects of marijuana? People who are selling it across state lines, people who are mass producing it outside of the regulations. Focus on that and focus on other drugs. But of course, old Beauregard Sessions, a.k.a. Beverly Hillbillies Granny, a.k.a. the Keebler Elf on meth, he decided, no, I want to roll back everything. I want to act as if we're in the height of the failed drug war. I want to revamp. I want to put the electric pads on the dying corpse of the drug war and get it reignited. And I want to increase mandatory minimums. See, Jeff Sessions is a problem. He has been the worst choice of Donald Trump's presidency. In fact, I think that Jeff Sessions, as far as it relates to the black community, to black folks and poor folks across this country, I believe that Jeff Sessions is the worst thing. In fact, I think that if even to those who were on the fence about Donald Trump, I think Jeff Sessions has proved to be that thing that pushes him all over the fence. That's what I think about Jeff Sessions. I want to let you continue to hear this about Jeff Sessions. I just wanted to
Marijuana is not as dangerous as heroin. Do you agree with that?
I think that's correct.
Well, thank you, sir. I would hope 25% less opioid use. It gives people
rigorous analysis of the marijuana usage and how it plays out. I'm not as optimistic as you.
You said one time that good people don't smoke marijuana. Which of these people would you say are not good people?
Well, let me explain how that occurred.
All right.
And I explain
quickly.
John
Kasich a good person? George Pataki, Rick Santorum, Newt Gingrich, Ted Cruz, Jeb Bush, George Bush, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Judge Clarence Thomas. Which of those are not good people?
Let me tell you how that came about, Congressman. So the question was, what do you do about?
Did you see the laughing in the background? Look at the smiles on the faces. Look at the smiles on the faces of all the people in the back. The people in front, they can't smile. But the people in back, look at them. All the white women, look at this white guy. He's laughing his ass off because you did the rights there, Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions wants you to believe that marijuana is the scourge of our society, that if it wasn't for marijuana, everything would be right and everything would be fine. Even though there's irrefutable evidence that when you legalize recreational marijuana, or not recreational marijuana, this is medicinal. When you allow people to get marijuana for their pain, their chronic pain, it cuts down on opiate use. Opiates can kill you. We've seen a reduction, as the congressman just stated. I think that was a senator. I'm sorry, that was a senator. I don't know his last name, Hager or something. As the senator outlined, a 25% reduction in the deaths, the number of opiate deaths in those 28 states where medicinal marijuana has been allowed. If Jeff Sessions really cared about people's lives, life or death, what would he do? That's why I say that Jeff Sessions, if people want a reason to dislike Donald Trump, they need look no further than Jeff Sessions. That's all you got to look at. Just look at Jeff Sessions and say, who gave that motherfucker a job? Donald Trump gave him a job.
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's who gave him a job, and he should be held accountable for pointing the Keebler elf from hell and sicking him on the American people. I had a clip. I took it out. Back in 2015, I talked about this on my Coffee with Tim Black show. In 2015 in Reno, Nevada, Donald Trump was on the campaign trail. While on the campaign trail, Donald Trump was asked the question, what about marijuana? And Donald Trump looked into the camera and said, I think we should leave it to the states. That's what he said. And now his attorney general is doing everything but leave it to the states. He's overriding the states. Now, I roast Jeff Sessions because his name is Beauregard and he talks like he just started talking. Like he just began talking. Well, I like to say that I am a son of a bitch and I ain't nothing. I think that the American people, for clarity, need to beat me up and kick me out of office. Somebody. But the real reason why I give Jeff Sessions so much heat is because civil asset forfeiture. That means they can come take your stuff, never, ever, ever try you, never even file. Sometimes they never even file. They just take your stuff. They seize. Look, civil asset forfeiture is what we were trying to get away from, which is where the law enforcement takes homes, cars, money from people. Just saying, well, I think you may have gotten it illegally. More people have lost items, money, possessions through civil asset forfeiture, which is the government taking your stuff, than home invasions and robberies combined. And I tell you, man, we get upset, right? We look at the conservatives and we say these conservatives, they are racist bigots. They are trapped into an old school subjugation of marginalized people, subjugation of black people, and these are horrible people with horrible policies. It's not just that. The average person is just who they are. Combination of their upbringing, whether they had a refrigerator on a porch or if they had running water or whatever. The point is this. Most of these people do not know the facts. They don't know the facts. They are being fooled by people like Jeff Sessions who talk their language. They look like their old uncle or their grandfather, and they are enamored by these people, but they do not know that their stuff is being taken. They are not aware that Jeff Sessions has ramped up civil asset forfeiture that takes primarily from them. That's why media is so important. Jeff Sessions' marijuana crackdown, some believe, may actually help legalization. What, Tim Black? Yes, that's a new Washington Post article. It says Jeff Sessions' marijuana crackdown may actually help the legalization efforts. I would like to see that happen. And part of it is due to it's going to really put on the table the state licensed dispensaries or grow operations would leave federal prosecutors inundated or isolated. In states with legal marijuana systems, such a crackdown would produce an outcry from both Democrats and Republicans, in addition to state and government and law enforcement officials. Federal prosecutors lack the resources to go into California and enforce the marijuana laws against everybody. So federal interests are really best served by them teaming up and working with the states, not using their resources to disrupt how the states are trying to responsibly regulate, which is just going to cause more harm for everyone. So, in a nutshell, guys, what Jeff Sessions is doing is not doing it to help. He's not doing it to help communities. He's not doing it to stop crime. Crime is going down. Make no mistake about it. Crime is on a decline, okay? But this, by trampling on the progress that's been made and the money that's been raised. And another thing, guys, here, check this out. Something you may not know. There are states that have legalized marijuana where they are using that tax revenue in those communities for schools and for law enforcement. Law enforcement is directly getting some of the proceeds from the taxation on marijuana sales. Jeff Sessions, I don't know who's putting money in his campaign or who he's carrying water for exactly, but there are other forces at play here, and they're not going to go so quietly. California, Colorado, Washington, D.C., many of these states, they have a vested interest in keep going the way they're going, and he got a fight on his hand, and this may prove to be a very damaging talking point in the 2018 midterm elections. That's all I'm trying to tell you. So as much as I despise Jeff Sessions, I hope that that's the outcome, but I know, don't give me the 3-day, people like to say, oh, Donald Trump playing 4D chess. He playing chess. He ain't playing chess. He's playing with his chest. He needs to talk with his chest, and he also needs to fire Jeff Sessions. That's what needs to happen. I ain't got time to say, oh, he meant this. This is just a smoke screen. He gonna really do this. Nah, no. You like a guy so much you make up any scenario where he is not the culprit. He's the culprit. He hired this guy. He had to fire this guy yesterday. All right. One last, another thing on the weed thing. This is how bad the weed thing is, because I know there are people watching who don't care for marijuana, who don't understand cannabis, who say, this is bad. I was raised in the church, and I don't want to hear about this drug talk. Why is Tim Black talking about it? Because the drug laws, particularly the weed drug laws, they are used as an instrument to pull us over, search us, find other stuff, detain us, cost our employment. For instance, here goes a tangible story that gets right to the crux of the matter. Police in Cartersville, Georgia, responded to a call for apparent gunshots on Saturday night. But what they found was a house party with nearly 100 people celebrating a 21st birthday. When police arrived at the scene, something led them to believe there were drugs on the property. They reportedly entered the house without the permission of the partygoers, and after less than 1 ounce of marijuana was discovered by officers, 63 attendees were arrested and sent to jail because no one claimed the drugs as theirs. In interviews given to Atlanta's Channel 2 Action News, some of the attendees claimed they were tied up with zip ties and threatened with tasers. Some of the men claimed they were locked up in cages. According to the partygoers, it was fireworks, not gunshots, that were likely heard by the individuals who called the police. I was throwing up water, one of the arrested attendees, a pregnant woman, told Channel 2. The whole saying, innocent until proven guilty, went out the window. They told me I was an unfit person to have a baby. According to jail records, the 63 individuals who were arrested Sunday night were processed by Monday night. All were charged with a single count of marijuana possession. The individuals arrested were predominantly black males aged 19 to 25. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Channel 2 reports some have lost their jobs as a result of spending multiple days in jail. 63. According to the 2013 American Civil Liberties Union report titled The War on Marijuana in Black and White, a black person is 3.73 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than a white person, even though both groups use marijuana at the same rates. Now, I'm not suggesting that if we legalize marijuana in all 50 states that cops would stop pulling over black people and hoping they find something on them. But it couldn't hurt. Because they're still going to find a way. It'll be your tint's too dark or your seatbelt didn't look totally fastened. It'll be something. Your tag was, the screw looked like it was a little loose. It'll be something they come up with. But we need to make them come up with something else because this story, there's too many stories like this. Too many stories like this. It happens far too often. It's a norm, even. Pull them over. Somebody smell like they got weed. They just say, it smell like somebody got weed. That's it. That's all it takes. It smells like somebody got weed. Now, in this situation, they did have weed. But what if they would have been in a state where it was legal? Then you have no reason to be entering the party. Tell them to keep the noise down. All right. Wow. Donald Trump. Let's talk about Donald Trump, y'all. Gosh, this guy. Okay, so we all know about this book, right? This damn book.
Marijuana is not as dangerous as heroin. Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that? Do I have the Bannon Trump? I got Bannon Trump. You know, this book here. There we go. Let's do this. There we go. Fire and Fury. Inside the Trump White House, Michael Wolff. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this book, and the reason why is because a lot of the allegations made in this book are devastating. Devastating allegations. In fact, folks, goodness gracious. What I would like to do is run through a few of those allegations, just so you know what the big talk is about the Fire and Fury book by Michael Wolff, and why suddenly Steve Bannon, who Democrats hated, they hated Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, that racist bigot, Breitbart co-founder or CEO, president, whatever he is, this guy, this scumbag, this tiki torch inspiring son of a bitch, this guy was horrible. Everyone was slamming Steve Bannon. Well, that's all changed now because Steve Bannon spilled some tea on Donald Trump. Here goes one of the allegations made in the book. Trump never wanted to be president. Mr. Trump's wife, Melania, was in tears when he won the election, and Mr. Trump looked like he had seen a ghost because they expected a defeat. Mr. Bannon is quoted saying he observed the then candidate morphing into a disbelieving Trump and then into a horrified Trump on election night. Mr. Trump reportedly never expected victory and was considering launching his own TV channel after his defeat, which key members of his campaign team were already interviewing for new jobs. Mrs. Trump's communications director, Stephen Ginsom, hit out at the claims in a statement from the White House. Now, that's one of the damaging assertions. Trump never wanted to be president, never thought he would be president, wasn't interested in being president, was only there to promote what? His business and become a major player in the media world. But he accidentally won. Shit. Now I got to be president. I got to do this horrible job. Trump's friends and his key advisors called him crazy. A number of president's key staff are quoted questioning Mr. Trump's intelligence. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus reportedly labeled Mr. Trump as an idiot, while Mr. Trump's chief economic advisor Gary Cohn said Trump was dumb as shit. His national security advisor, McMaster, described him as a dope. Billionaire Thomas Burrack Jr., who is one of Trump's closest, oldest friends, is quoted in the book allegedly telling a friend of the president, he's not only crazy, he's stupid. These are some of the allegations that are in this book. They got a lot of other stuff that don't mean anything. Trump liked cheeseburgers at night. He got like 6 TVs in his room. He likes Rupert Murdoch, the owner of the media conglomerate, mogul, whatever the hell. Trump didn't know anything about the Constitution. Ivanka Trump wants to be president one day. Trump called female acting attorney the C word. And a lot of law firms didn't want to represent Trump. And one of the things that stuck out as damaging. Now, look, I have no way to tell you if this is true or not. I'm telling you what was printed. They say Trump can't recognize old friends. Trump can't recognize old friends. This is damaging stuff. This is horrific stuff. Listen. Mr. Wolf portrays the president as an aging man who repeats stories and quotes some of Mr. Trump's closest allies describe the president as incapable of functioning in his job. He described a scene at Mr. Trump's Florida Mar-a-Lago resort just before the new year, saying a heavily made-up Trump failed to recognize a succession of old friends. So you got people that you grew up with, people that you roll with, people that you've known 30, 40 years, and you don't recognize them? Hey, Trump. Yes. It's me, your man, Kenny. Kenny who? Kenny who? I've known you for 40 years, Trump. Oh. Okay. Got any more Just for Men for my hair? Because I need to get my hair right. So Trump is losing it. That's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not. Mr. Wolf writes, it used to be inside of 30 minutes, he'd repeat word for word and expression for expression the same 3 stories. Now, it's within 10 minutes. So Trump will be telling you a story that he told you 10 times before, and he'll tell you that same story within a 10-minute sitting? Look, now, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, White House press secretary, she says if Trump was crazy, he wouldn't be president. I would like to suggest that to be president, you would have to be crazy. Like to want that job after being a millionaire, you would have to be crazy. And don't give me this thing that Trump wanted to change the world. Trump wanted to help Americans. Shut up. Trump is a billionaire. He could have been changing the world while he was a billionaire. He could have just been changing the world. He didn't need to be president to try to deal with this political shitstorm in order to try to help people. If Trump really wanted to help people, his track record, his life would have resembled that of someone with that mission. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. I've worked in my community as a community activist, a community organizer. I've been doing content, creating content surrounding the black community, surrounding equality, justice, fighting against police brutality, a better environment, fighting against climate change, fighting against injustice for 5 years. So if I ran for something tomorrow, I have a 10-year, 13 years that I could point to things I did in those 13 years to support my argument why I'm not just doing this to get a check or to become a media whatever, okay? Donald Trump, and I just imagine if while I was doing all those things that I had access to millions of dollars. I could have done actual things. I could have helped people. I could have cleaned up a soup kitchen and made new soup kitchens and made some places for homeless people to live. I could have created a fund that helped people further find representation to fight against these crappy court cases where they try to get you to plead guilty to charges you didn't even commit. and you do it because you feel like you don't have representation. There are so many things I could have done if I had money. So that's me. You mean to tell me a 70-year-old white guy with millions upon millions of dollars, he doesn't have a list of things to say he's been doing for the last 20 years to prove that he actually gives a damn? But see, this is the thing. When you don't have people articulating that, see, it's one thing to say, all these people, they don't want to know the truth. They just bigots, they just liars. It's one thing to say that. But in reality is, you'd be surprised. People believe their TVs. People wish for the best. They actually would call them, some people would look at themselves, I don't know, why are you being negative? And it's just truth. So I think that people are withheld information so they can make better judgments and better decisions, and especially when it comes to Donald Trump, and when it comes to when it comes to Donald Trump, when it comes to all this stuff. That's what I believe. So this book, I think the book just came out today. I haven't read the book, just excerpts. And if it's true, it's a scary thing. And speaking of scary things, excuse me. Everyone's heard about Donald Trump being on Twitter, and he made a tweet that had some people going, what the hell? What the hell is wrong with Donald Trump? Why is he making tweets of ending the world? Okay? Well, that tweet, it was something like this. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it's much bigger and more powerful than his, and my button works. Now, this was tough talk, but it was also dangerous talk. It's also the type of talk that makes some people lay up in the middle of the night and stare at the ceiling, hold their covers. They don't want to hear this shit. It's scary talk that the President of the United States, most powerful country, military country, most powerful military force on earth, is talking like this on Twitter, unchecked, just like willy-nilly. And I get that. I do. One criticism I have is Kim Jong-un was talking just as reckless. He's the one that started with the whole button pushing thing. That was him talking that, and Trump anteed up, okay? And that's what he does. It's stupid. I'm not defending it. It's stupid. But let's not act like Kim Jong-un is some type of well-adjusted human being. He's not. He's a fucking dictator. Word is he puts people in human grinding machines, human paper shredders, or launches bombs at people, like feeds them to dogs. Like, I hear all types of stories. I don't know if it's true, but I know his country has cut off and that they're suffering under his reign. Okay? Here's the thing about Twitter, because a lot of us use Twitter. I use Twitter. I'm on Twitter as Real Tim Black. Twitter explains why it won't block Donald Trump. Because, see, a lot of people ask Twitter, why are you letting this guy scare the hell out of the world on Twitter? Why do you let him do that? If I make a threat to someone, you lock my account. But he gets to make a threat to a country, and you do nothing. Nada. Well, here's what Twitter had to say. Twitter has repeatedly said it takes newsworthiness into account when weighing whether to take action against an account that might otherwise violate its terms of service. Blocking a world leader from Twitter or removing their controversial tweets would hide important information people should be able to see and debate. Twitter said in a blog post. It would also not silence that leader, but it would certainly hamper necessary discussion around their words and actions. Do you buy that? I buy that. I buy that. I buy that. I buy it. I buy it to a certain degree. I buy it that I'd rather know what's being said. I'd rather know what's being said than not know. And not just for Trump, for any public official. I like to know what's going on. In fact, there are many public officials who don't use Twitter. And they should, because they should keep their constituents, us, in the loop on their decisions, how they're voting, why they voted that way. They should have to use some form of way of communicating with their base, with the voters. This is not 1972. This is not 1996. This is 2018. Get in gear. And I know what, and I think if you have a politician that one of your local politicians, and they don't use some way of communicating with you to let you know what they have been doing with your money, with your position, you put them in power, you gave them a job, you hired them, and now they can't talk to you, I say get rid of them just for not being a good communicator. That's what I say. Act like you too good to talk to me. I'm too good to elect your ass. How about that? How about that? Okay. Now, this is the part where Twitter loses me, okay? Okay. In a statement on Friday, Twitter appeared to push back at the notion that its policy to block or not block Trump or any world leader is motivated by its bottom line. Some analysts and some critics suggested that blocking Trump would be bad for Twitter's business. This is what they said. They said, no one person's account drives Twitter's growth or influences these decisions. The company said, we work hard to remain unbiased with the public interest in mind. Okay. Word. For real. Word. You know, that's bullshit, okay? It's BS. They are, of course, they want Donald Trump to use their platform. Donald Trump is a traffic magnet. See, some people think people talk, they hear these people who dog Trump, they think they do it because they really hate Trump. Man, Trump has revitalized cable news. Trump has kept people employed just by running his mouth, just by tweeting. His people maintain audiences because of Trump, whether they're for Trump or against him. He is a lightning rod for conversation, for drama, and this sells. It sells. For Twitter to act like they're above it is garbage. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all major news entities feast on Trump. And Trump is glad to feed him because Trump knows ain't no such thing as bad publicity. For Twitter to act like they're beyond being influenced by money is bullshit. They're a publicly traded corporation. And the bottom line matters. So you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool me, Twitter. We know what you do. You're just like the rest of them. Bottom line. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Black Word today. Email me at tim@timblacktv.com. Visit me at timblacktv.com. Shout out to my media director extraordinaire aficionado, Momo Pineno, and all those who support this show. Remember, I have segments. I have Talk Back to Tim Black, and I have, what's my other segment? I'm getting lost in the weeds. Talk Black to Tim Black. Oh, and the other one where you get to submit the blacklist, where you send in information. You send in your links to your website or links to what you got going on, maybe your calls, maybe if something. If you got a great cause, you do something in your community. You do things in your community to help people. Or maybe you got just a fun creation, something. You let me know about it, and it's possible I will include you in the Tim Black list, which will help give you more exposure to whatever you're doing. It's my way to give back via this show. I want your viewership. I want you to tell friends about the show, but what do I do for you? I want to keep the circle of trust and the circle of support rotating. And I think that's something that's needed in 2018. It's been needed forever. Don't get me wrong. I ain't invented. It's just that I'm utilizing it. So send your stuff to tim@timblacktv.com. I got nothing but love for you. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in just a little less than an hour. Goodness gracious, I'm running over. It's Freedom Friday, where you get to call into the show and say whatever's on your mind. I'm out of here. Thank you for spending time with me. I love you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one. Get out of here, Trumpy. You're full of it. See, no one has balls. No one has the balls to say the real deal.
Black Word.
Guess y'all is the one and only. Get up.
Hello, everybody.
Black word today.
So say good night to the bad guy.